A man doesn't want a girl that's just going to be naked all the time and put herself out there available for every man to see. You know, that I don't have to be a man to know that that's not what men want, right? If you think that that's freedom, the idea that you have to wear less and the idea that you have to get naked to be heard, you really think that's a form of freedom? Because that's slavery, that's bondage. I didn't have to take off my clothes to be heard in society. And these women will realize that when you follow these people that are, you know, self-imposed feminists, I'm a feminist, I do this, I'm a feminist, you hear that word over and over and over again, you'll find that the majority of them are miserable. Look at their lives and ask yourself a question. Do you think they are happy? Do you feel good when you do what they do, right? When you're constantly looking for a dopamine hit from social media because you took your clothes off and you want somebody in your comments, you know, a thirst trap with your ass out, right? And you want someone in your comments going, oh, you slay bae, you slayed the day bae. Hashtag Tuesdays, am I right?
Yeah.
There is so much wrong with that video and so much that's right in that video. But I think one thing that both parties failed to address is that not every woman who is comfortable in her body and comfortable with exposing her body cares about getting attention. Some women just want to feel comfortable in their skin, right? We came into this world naked, and humans, in their perverted minds, have sexualized everything. Just because you see a breast, just because you see an ass, does not equate to sex. But your limited perception will lead you to believe if you see a breast, if you see a fat ass or well-proportioned body, that this woman is asking to be sexualized. We have to change the notion of that. Now, I think what we can do, since we have these ideas out, confirm that your idea is an actual fact. Because without questions, you have projections. When you make statements that are not formed in questions, it is, in fact, a projection. And it's just as simple as that. Now, someone like me who speaks, you know, in question form, but I speak in such an assertive way, a lot of times people assume that I'm not asking questions. But I think sometimes we have to take a step back and ask ourselves, is this person asking me a question or they're making a statement? Because statements don't require an answer, but questions do. Okay? So just make sure when you're communicating with someone, you are sure that this person is inquiring to get some feedback from you. Or, you know, because I've encountered people like this where you cannot ask them any questions because they feel like, I don't know, they feel like, it's unfortunate what a lot of people think when people question them. I feel like you need people to ask questions because part of asking questions allows understanding. And with understanding, it's comprehension. And with comprehension, this is where problem solving happens. But because we have people who grew up in a home where their authority figure never had answers, right? So you grow up thinking questioning is challenging your authority, but it may be, especially if you don't have the answers. When someone asks me a question, I'm either assuming they lack a certain level of understanding and they want clarity. And as a leader or as someone in a position of authority, it is your job to be knowledgeable and to teach the people around you. That's your job. So I think anyone who runs away from someone questioning them, I can just assume that you just don't have the answers. Now, sometimes it's hard to articulate because I've been there, right? Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes days come in and you contact someone 2 days or, 3 days after the fact because you now have the words to be able to articulate yourself better. Some people think that you've been sitting around pondering and fumigating on the event that took place, but sometimes you do need to sit back and reflect about what took place so you can actually give someone a solid answer. Sometimes it does take 2 days, especially when it comes to something so It depending on the situation, you know. So, I mean, I just want us to all see the human body more as an experiment, more as an art form versus something that is sexualized. I feel like, you know, for me, especially because I've been sexually active for a very long time, I now perceive sex very differently. If you cannot capture my mind on any level, it's very hard for me to be stimulated physically. And I'm not going to say that I don't feel certain things throughout the day, right? Because we're human. But as far as me engaging with another human, intelligence is something that I value over looks. Now, I'm not going to say, and I've always been this way, I'm not going to say that looks don't matter, but the intelligence of a being is a lot greater than someone's actual looks, in my opinion, because someone has a great mind. I mean, that definitely changes everything for me.